real secret is why the jungle never became silent after Nyla. Nyla, who lived in a small village, was everyone's favorite because of her innocence and beauty. Nyla, a simple 20-year-old girl, lived with her parents. There was a dense forest near the village which people called the Lost Forest. Many scary stories were famous in the village about this forest. People used to say that strange things happened there. That is why no one dared to go there. Nyla was fond of going to forests since childhood. She would often sit on the outskirts of the village and look at the forest and wonder what is there that everyone is afraid of. One day, Nyla, full of curiosity, decided that she would uncover this secret. She did not tell this thought to anyone. The next morning, as soon as the sun rose, she kept a water bottle, some food items and a torch in a bag and left for the forest alone. Reaching the edge of the forest, she took a deep breath and stepped inside. The view of the forest was very beautiful. Tall trees, chirping of birds and cool breeze. Nyla felt that perhaps all the scary things people had said about the forest were lies. Nyla kept walking in the forest and about half an hour had passed when she felt as if someone was watching her. She immediately stopped and looked around but could not see anything. She thought that maybe it was her illusion and started moving forward. But after going a little distance, she heard the rustling of dry leaves from behind. Fearfully, she turned around and saw that a huge gorilla was standing there. He was at least 7 feet tall and there was a strange shine in his eyes. Nyla's heart started beating fast. She thought that he would attack her, but the gorilla was standing absolutely silent and staring at her. Nyla slowly tried to move back, but the gorilla blocked her way by spreading his long arms. Then he made some gestures in a deep voice, as if he wanted to say something to Nyla. Nyla realized that he was not attacking her but wanted to explain something. The gorilla picked up a big leaf from the ground and extended it towards Nyla. Nyla took the leaf hesitantly. There were some strange marks on it as if it was a secret message. The gorilla again gestured as if saying, "Follow me." Nyla's heart was filled with both fear and curiosity. Finally, she gathered courage and followed the gorilla. Soon they both reached a cave. The gorilla gestured towards the cave as if asking her to go inside. Nyla peeped inside. There was something shining there. When she went closer, she saw that it was a shining necklace along with an old diary. Nyla picked up the diary and started reading. As soon as Nyla turned the first page of the diary, she felt as if someone had pushed her from behind. She immediately turned, but there was no one there. The gorilla was standing silently outside the cave. There was such a state in his eyes as if he wanted to say something. A pain that could not be expressed in words. The things written on the set of diaries were very surprising. It was written that this gorilla was once a human being, but due to an old curse, he turned into this horrible form. To end this curse, he needed the help of an innocent person who would help him without any caste benefits. Nyla was shocked after reading all this. She did not understand what to do. She looked at the gorilla standing outside who was silently looking at her. There was a mixed glimpse of hope and pain in his eyes, as if he was pleading with Nyla. Nyla thought in her heart that if this gorilla was really a human being, then she must help him. She gathered courage and turned the next page of the diary. There was written the method of ending the curse, but the instructions were very detailed. There was a mention of a special mantra and a special day when this ritual could be completed. Nyla was still in a dilemma, but the gorilla again made gestures and started taking her with him towards the inside of the forest. Nyla felt that the gorilla had become very alert, as if he was afraid of some danger. He kept looking here and there and started walking fast. Nyla's heart was getting restless, but but she kept walking with him. After some time, they reached near a small lake. The water of the lake seemed very soothing and mysterious. The gorilla gestured that Nyla should look into the water of the lake. As soon as she looked into the water, she saw her reflection in a strange way. It felt as if some unseen force from inside the water was pulling her towards itself. Nyla started to move back in fear, but the gorilla held her hand and explained to her with gestures that there was no need to be afraid. At that very moment, a mysterious voice emerged from the lake. That voice was deep and echoing. He said that if you want to help this gorilla, then you will have to sacrifice your most precious thing. Nyla was stunned to hear this. She looked at the gorilla, who was restlessly looking at the lake. There was a strange aura of hope and pain in his eyes, as if he was pleading with Nyla not to leave him alone. A storm of questions arose in Nyla's mind and heart. Is this gorilla really innocent? Will she be in some big danger by helping him? The lake's voice echoed again. You don't have much time. Decide. Nyla's breathing became faster. She was shaken by the sounds coming from the lake. There were two options before her. Either she helps the gorilla and becomes a part of this mysterious secret, or she returns to save her life. Her eyes were fixed on the gorilla, who was still silently looking at her with hopeful and painful eyes. There was restlessness and pain on his face. Nyla was not able to understand what to do. The lake's voice echoed again. You have to decide immediately. If you want this gorilla to become a human again, you will have to sacrifice your most precious thing. Nyla looked at the lake and asked slowly, What is my most precious thing? The lake replied, This decision will be made by your heart. Whatever is most precious to you, you will have to give that up. Nyla fell into deep thought. Does she hold her parents, her freedom, or her identity most precious? She looked at the gorilla, whose eyes were mixed with hope and pain. Nyla gathered courage and said, I am ready to sacrifice. But first I want to know who you are and why all this happened to you. Quote, the gorilla pointed towards the lake. Suddenly waves started rising in the water and a scene started emerging. Nyla saw that the gorilla also had a handsome and brave prince named Armin. He was the governor of a kind-hearted and powerful kingdom. One day, when he refused the help of a mysterious woman in the forest, who was actually a witch, he was killed. She cursed Armon and said that unless a kind-hearted girl sacrifices her most precious thing, you will remain in this form. Nyla was shocked to see all this. She looked at Armon and said, I can understand your pain. I will help you. Just then the voice of the lake echoed again. If you sacrifice, the gorilla will become a human. But remember, there will be a void in your life which you will feel always. Nyla closed her eyes and thought about her parents, dreams, and life. But seeing Armon's sorrow, her heart melted. She said in a strong tone, I am ready. I will sacrifice my most precious thing.
Is het tijd voor een upgrade van jouw auto?
Een stoffen bank.
Zoals leren bekleding of een 4-wheel drive. Die vind je bij een van de ruim 7000 betrouwbare autobedrijven op Marktplaats. Marktplaats. Elke deal een groot verschil.
At that very moment, the waves of the lake became peaceful and a bright light rose from the water and surrounded Nyla. The gorilla also stood in that light. Nyla felt that her memories were being washed away. The light asked her, Do you know what you are sacrificing? Nyla said, No, but I am ready. As soon as she said this, the light started spreading. The gorilla's body started trembling. His long arms and legs started shrinking and his heavy body became light. He slowly started turning into a human being. Nyla saw that he had now become a handsome, brave young man. That was Armand. There were tears of gratitude in his eyes. He said, "I will always be grateful for whatever you did for me." Then Nyla felt that something strange was happening. Her memories were slowly becoming blurred. She tried to remember her parents, her home, everything. But everything seemed to be vanishing. Panicked, she asked Armand, "What is happening to me?" Armand said in a sad voice, "You have sacrificed your most precious thing, that is, your memories. Now you will forget your family, your past and your identity." This was very painful for Nyla. She said, "I did all this for you. But will I ever be able to see my parents again?" Armand lowered his eyes and said softly, "You have made a huge sacrifice, Nyla. I will never forget this. I promise I will always try to keep you happy." Tears started flowing from Nyla's eyes, but she controlled herself. She said, "If my memories were my most precious thing, then I made the right decision. You were the most important to me." Armand held her hand and looking towards the lake said, "I promise I will never leave you alone." A soft voice came from the lake. "You both have met for some great purpose. The meaning of this sacrifice will be revealed soon." The dusty atmosphere of the lake suddenly became silent. Nyla was now completely cut off from Manji. She neither remembered her village, nor her parents, nor her old life. There was a strange void in her heart. Armand held Nyla's hand and said, "I can never repay you for what you did for me. Now it is my responsibility to give you a new life. Let's go from here." Quote. Nyla looked at Armand. There was strangeness in her eyes. She said, "I don't know who I am. But if you are saying that you will help me, then I will come with you." Quote. The two of them passed through the jungle paths and headed towards the village. Armand promised to give her a happy life. But as they came close to the village, people were shocked. An old woman said in a trembling voice, "This is the same gorilla who has come back." Armand was shocked. He explained, "I am no longer a gorilla. This girl has freed me." But the villagers were not ready to listen. A young man said angrily, "You are the one who harmed our people. We will not let you live here." Armand looked at Nyla, who was still trying to understand the situation. He put his hand on Nyla's shoulder and said softly, "We have to leave from here." Both of them left for a deserted place away from the village. Armand took a deep breath and said, "Even though the curse is over and I have become a human again, but those wounds inside me have not yet been healed. People will never accept me completely." Nyla, who was now completely unaware of her Maji, said seriously, "I could not understand everything. But if this is true, then we will have to get to the root of this curse. Maybe everything is not over yet." Armand looked at her and said, "You are right. We will have to go back to the lake to know the truth." Quote. Both of them stayed overnight and in the morning they again left for the lake. When they reached near the lake, the scene there was different from before. The color of the water had changed to dark black, and mysterious sounds were coming from there. Armand looked at the lake and said, "You said that the curse will end, but people still do not accept me. Is there anything left?" At that very moment a resonating voice came from the lake. "Your curse has ended, but Nyla's sacrifice is not yet complete. Until her sacrifice is complete, this curse will not end completely." Nyla was shocked. She asked, "My sacrifice is incomplete. I have sacrificed my memories. What else is left now?" The lake replied, "You have given up your memories, but they were only related to your Manji. To end this curse completely, you will have to sacrifice from the depth of your soul." Armand's face filled with anger and sadness. He screamed and said, "This it isn't justice. Nyla has already lost a lot. I will not let her make another sacrifice." Jile's soothing voice emerged. This curse is related to that sacrifice. If she does not make this sacrifice, you will again become a gorilla and this time no one will be able to save you. Tears rolled down Nyla's eyes. She said in a low voice, "If this is true, then I am ready." Armin held her hand. "No, I do not want to lose you further. I will live in this condition. But I cannot put you in danger," Nyla said in a determined tone. "I have already decided. If your sorrow can end with my sacrifice, then I will definitely do it." Jill again addressed Nyla. "Now you will have to give up your desires and dreams. Happiness, love and hope will be snatched away from your life forever. You will become a shadow living only for others. Are you ready?" Nyla said without hesitation. "Yes, I am ready." Suddenly a bright light rose from the lake which started surrounding Nyla from all sides. The light was so intense that Armand had to close his eyes. Pain was clearly visible on Nyla's face and her body started trembling. Armand cried and screamed, "No, stop it." But the lake's action was not going to stop now. The light kept increasing and Nyla's body slowly started becoming weak and light. When the light stopped, she fell on the ground. Armand immediately held her and taking a deep breath asked, "Nyla, are you okay?" Nyla looked at him but there was no emotion left in her eyes. He said in a low voice, "Now I am only for you. The only purpose of my life is to be with you." Armand understood that Nyla had sacrificed her every wish, every dream. He was broken from inside. He held Nyla's hand and said, "I will never let your sacrifice go to Rygao." Then he stopped and thought, has Jill really told us everything or is there still some secret left? Nyla's face was calm but there was no sign of life in her eyes. She was standing near Armand but it seemed as if she had become just an empty entity now. Armand said in a painful tone, "Nyla, I never wanted this for you. All this has happened because of me. I cannot see you in this condition." Nyla said softly, "Now I have no wish, no dream. The purpose of my life is only to help you." Armand's heart broke into pieces. He looked at Jill and said in a loud voice, "Is this your justice? I made a mistake. I got the punishment. But this girl did only good." "Then why?" Jill's voice emerged, soft but deep. "Armand, this curse was the result of your mistake. But Nyla has sacrificed herself willingly. The root of every curse is not just on the surface. It is also connected to the depth of deeds." Armand asked, "What do you mean? Is there something still hidden?" Jill replied, "If you want to reach the root of this curse, then you will have to return to your Manji." Armand asked in surprise, "What is there in my Manji that I do not know?" Jill said seriously, "This curse was not just the result of a witch's anger. Your family had earlier attacked that witch's village. Her own people were killed. Her family was destroyed. Then she had sworn that your family will definitely have to take revenge for this. Your father tried to stop her. But the curse came to your share." Armand was deeply shocked to hear this. Now he understood that this was not only the result of his but also of his family's sins. He asked the lake, "If this is true, then how can I end this curse completely?" The lake said, "You have to find the witch and apologize to her." But this was not easy. The witch was still hiding in some corner of the forest and finding her was like calling death. Nyla, who was now free from her desires and dreams, said in a virtuous tone, "I will come with you. You need my help to reach the witch." Armin tried to stop her. "Nyla, this is very dangerous." But Nyla replied in a strong tone, "The only purpose of my life now is to help you. Don't stop me." Both of them bid goodbye to the lake and started moving towards the deep and deserted part of the forest. The forest had now become darker and more terrifying than before. The sounds of dangerous animals were echoing everywhere. But the steps of these two did not stop. After some time, they saw an old dilapidated hut. Black vines were wrapped around its neck and smoke was rising from inside. Armin looked at Nyla and said, "It seems this is the place." They reached the door of the hut. Armin knocked on the door. A hoarse voice came from inside.
Join the AI audio revolution today with 11 Labs' full-scale audio platform. Generate industry-leading, ultra-realistic text-to-speech for your content. Ready to be done.
Quote, "Who is it? Don't you know that it is forbidden to come here?" Armin said, "I am Armin. I have come to apologize to you. I am ashamed of whatever my family has done. Please put an end to this curse." Quote, the door opened and an old woman came out. Her hair was white and scattered. Her eyes were deep and scary. She glared at Armin and said, "How dare you apologize? Do you think that everything will be fine with just an apology?" Quote, Armin said honestly, "I know an apology is not enough, but I am ready to do anything to correct my mistake." Quote, the witch looked at Nyla and asked, "Who is this girl? Is she also from your family?" Quote, Nyla replied softly, "I have lost my identity. I have sacrificed everything for Armon." The witch laughed loudly. "This girl is your biggest strength, and also your biggest weakness. If you really want to get rid of this curse, then you will have to make your biggest sacrifice." Armon was shocked. "What is that biggest sacrifice?" The witch said in a deep tone, "You will have to leave this girl forever." Hearing this, Armon became silent. Even the thought of leaving Nyla was tearing his heart. He looked at Nyla, who was standing silently. There were no emotions in her eyes. She was now just a shadow whose only purpose was to help Armon. Armon took a deep breath and said, "This is not possible. I have regained my humanity because of Nyla. She is my biggest strength. I cannot leave her." The witch said with a cold smile, "Then you will have to accept this also." The witch said, "If you do not leave Nyla, then this curse will never end completely. Your oath will always be written as an incomplete release." Armon looked at Nyla and said softly, "I cannot even imagine leaving you. You sacrificed everything for me. How can I leave you alone?" Nyla said in a calm voice, "If this is the only way, then accept it. My desires and dreams have already ended. Your release is the most important thing for me." Armon's heart was broken. But Nyla's words and truth forced him to think seriously about this decision. He asked the witch, quote, "Will this curse end only when I leave Nyla?" The witch replied, "Yes, but remember that you will not only have to leave but forget forever. This will not be easy. Your heart, body, and soul will have to go through extreme pain." Armon thought for a few moments. Then, hardening his heart, he said, "If this is the only way, then I am ready." The witch went inside and brought a shining cup which contained a magical drink. She said that if you drink this, your memories will become blurred. You will forget Nyla, but its effect will be deep on you. Armon took the cup in his hand. He looked at Nyla and said, "I am not doing all this for you but to make your Kabami successful. If I have ever hurt you, please forgive me." Nyla said with a light smile, "I left everything for you. If my Kabami is completed with your release, then I have no regrets." Armon took a deep breath and drank the drink. As soon as he emptied the cup, his head started spinning. His eyes started closing and he started feeling severe pain in his body. Nyla tried to hold him, but the witch said, "Do not touch him. He will have to complete this ritual alone." Armon's memories started fading away one by one. He remembered the day he became a gorilla, the lake, Nyla's sacrifice, everything. But then slowly everything started disappearing from his sight. After some time Armon opened his eyes. He was feeling different. He was not in any pain, but there was a deep emptiness in his eyes. He looked around and asked, "How did I come here and who is this girl?" The witch smiled and said, "You are free now. course is over, but you will not remember anything. Nyla looked at her, but there were no tears in her eyes. She knew that Armand would never remember her again.